This is Dwayne Warren with another coronavirus update. I come to report that there are 227 cases in Orange of the coronavirus. We have 5 deaths and we have 15 recoveries from the virus. So we are not out of the woods. The numbers are still going up. And so we're still asking you to maintain social distance, wash your hands, stay home, and wear your masks and gloves when you're out in public. This is critical to our safety and our survival. Here in the city of Orange, there have been, you'll hear later, there have been good instances of compliance with our orders to stay home, with our orders to keep social distances, but there have been some violators, and we're taking those very seriously. Because as I've toured the senior citizen buildings, as I've toured the homes of senior citizens, this is a serious epidemic and we have to take it seriously by staying home, washing our hands, wearing our masks, and keeping our social distance. One key factor that has been universal to all of us is the need for nourishment. To go to the store, to buy food, to be able to feed our families, but there are some who are facing a food shortage. And we have contracted with the New Jersey Food Bank in Hillside and other food providers to make sure that we have food delivered to the city of Orange Township and then distributed to all of those who are in need. And let me just take the time now to give the phone number for those in need. It's 973-280-1621. That is the mayor's hotline, and you may call it if you're in need of assistance, including food. So if you need food, you would call that number and they'll get your information and make a delivery of food to you. So let me give you the number again to the mayor's hotline for food assistance. It's 973-280-1621. Spearheading our food effort has been the Director of Community Services, Wendy Sykes, and she has worked directly with Dr. Darren Ferguson in our police department, who is heading up our reentry effort and our COVID-19 food pantry effort. I want to bring him in to get a status on where we are with collecting foods that we can give out, because we did a while ago, we had a shortage where our demand exceeded the supply that we had. We are now fully staffed with people who will distribute food. Now we want to make sure that we're fully stocked with the food itself. The Board of Education has worked with us to make sure that Rosa Parks is available as a distribution center and as an emergency command center where our food is housed. Let me bring in Dr. Ferguson now to get some background and some information on where we go forward with our food supply. Dr. Ferguson, good to have you today. Normally we'd be at the same table, but we're trying to be socially distant to make sure that we stay safe. You're heading up our food effort with Wendy Sykes in Community Services. Tell me how that's going. Do we have enough food? Are we meeting our demand and so forth?
Well, it's going really well. Friday before last, we received about close to 10,000 pounds of food, which came out to about 673 boxes of foods for families. It was delivered to the Rosa Parks School, and that was delivered by the staff, the great staff of the City of Orange. Ms. Sykes headed up that coordination, and we were able to deliver it to our senior centers, to our vulnerable populations, and to all of the clients that were given to us by the Interfaith Food Bank of the Oranges. So we'll get another delivery of about 20,000 pounds of food. This time it won't be in boxes, but there'll be pallets of different canned goods and things, all non-perishable items. That'll be coming in on Wednesday, and then we will be putting it together in bags to make sure we distribute it to our community.
Oh, very good. I do want to thank Public Works for being intimately involved in making sure that our food gets from the truck to our emergency command center. It literally comes in a big 18-wheeler, and we have to offload it using machines and make sure that we store it and house it properly in our command center. And our Public Works has done an outstanding job in making sure that our food is secured and stored. Dr. Ferguson, you've been working with area supermarkets as well as the food bank. How has that been going?
Yes, I spoke with the folks from Bravo Supermarket yesterday, and they're going to generously donate what we need after we get the shipment in on Wednesday. We'll tell them what we lack and what we may need so they can order a week out because they said that their distribution lines are a little compromised too. So they're only getting in every 10 days what they would usually get in twice a week.
Wow.
So they're having some issues, but they have generously said that they will donate food to us directly to be distributed to the people, but they will also make sure that families can get some discount of a $5 or $10 discount.
Well, this is the program that we're working with Bravo on, Bravo and the mayor's office. We're trying to collaborate to get our children engaged as well. Apart from my essay and short story or video contest, Bravo's going to come on board as well and encourage children to do posters, whether it be rainbow or some other type of happy event that'll be posted in the window. And if your child draws a happy event, it'll be put in the window, and Bravo will extend a 5% discount on the groceries that you get that day. It's a way to get families involved totally, but make sure that the children are engaged and families can stretch their dollars a little bit in terms of food. You've also indicated that you're trying to reach out to other supermarkets to give them the opportunity to be charitable as well.
That's what we're doing this week, is reaching out to other area supermarkets to give them the opportunity to help as well.
Excellent. Now, your job with the city covers mostly trying to get people not to be reincarcerated, those who are coming home to make a smooth transition. How is that changing in light of COVID-19?
Well, in the wake of this, part of what I wanted to do is put together workshops, job readiness workshops and preparedness for those who are being returned from prison. But because of social distancing and all of the guidelines, I haven't been able to do that. What we are doing is we're monitoring to make sure that anybody who's released from prison early due to Governor Murphy's mandate, that we will make sure that we reach out to them to make sure that they have all that they need so that there'll be a very low chance of them recidivating during this time.
Very good. And then finally, I know you're working with the area pastors and those who are chaplains in both police and fire, given the upcoming religious observances. How is that going?
That's going great. We're going to put something together with your office for Friday morning to do something around the 7 last words with some of the area pastors. We're going to be reaching out to our Jewish population to make sure that they have information around Passover, and also Ramadan is starting this month on April 20th. So we want to reach out to our Muslim population to make sure that folks have stuff that they need during Ramadan, that families are understanding what's going on and what religious services are available to them during this time. Because it's a holy time for all three major Abrahamic religions. So Christians have Resurrection Sunday this week, Passover is this week for our Jewish community, and then April 20th starts Ramadan. So we have a lot going on.
So we're pretty busy trying to be inclusive. We know that the stay-at-home order and the lockdown that we've been under prohibits us from having social gatherings that would normally happen at a place of worship. But to the extent possible, we want to encourage everyone to go online, make sure that your place of worship is online. If not, join another one, because that kind of connection and that kind of message really buoys our hope, and to make sure that we don't get depressed and we don't start to get the effects of cabin fever. So I encourage all of you to get involved in whatever congregation you belong to, because this is a time where usually we celebrate and we're out and together with everyone. Doctor, before I let you leave, how is it with Rosa Parks and that being our command center for our food? Is that working out well?
Yeah, that's been amazing. Rosa Parks has opened up their gym. All of the food pallets will be delivered there. And between the great folks in public works in the city of Orange and volunteers that we'll have, obviously maintaining social distancing, wearing masks and all of those things, we will be able to sort the food and distribute the food to the folks in Orange who need it.
Please do not be afraid to call if you have a need, 973-280-1621. Please just walk us through what the process is when I call for delivery of food and it's delivered. How does that work?
So what we've been doing, the list that we got from the Interfaith Food Bank, we called the people on the list to let them know that we were in the area and about to deliver food, and we would leave the food on their doorstep, and then they could come down and get it within moments of it being delivered, just to maintain social distancing. And also with our senior buildings, we've been coordinating with the staff in the senior building to drop it off to somebody at the building. They'll take it to the doors of each of the persons who need food.
So we're delivering it in a safe environment to make sure that we are all nourished. There's no reason to go without, because we are here to help. This administration is keenly concerned about making sure that all of our community is fed, is happy, and certainly is informed. Dr. Ferguson, thank you for
Thank you,
all the time
Mayor.
put in.
Thank you
Appreciate
so
it.
much.
I'm in the police department doing this update because I wanted to get a sense as to what is happening on the street, both with compliance with orders that are going in and with overall operations to make sure that we're safe. The governor has entered a number of executive orders, and a lot of it really falls on the operations of the police department. I've asked Lieutenant Brian Mooney to come in because he has responsibility for operations of the department to see how things are going and to give us an update. Since we're not out on the street and he is, he can let us in. Brian, thank you for coming in. I know you're probably out there working hard. We pulled you in. You've been with the department for how long?
20 years.
And you've been promoted to lieutenant at this point.
That's correct.
And what are your duties now?
I previously was part of the Special Operations Division, but now under the direction of Director Todd Warren and Commanding Officer Vitiello, I'm part of a four-man team in the Office of Emergency Management on the second floor, where we now work with giving guidance to the officers how to navigate through this time, whether it's scheduling or executive orders from the governor's office or the attorney general directives, making sure our rank and file get what they need, and scheduling to better protect them and their families, as well as providing orders for personal protection for them, because they still have to work the street and still have to encounter the public.
Tell me how COVID-19 has affected arrest procedures for the city of Orange Township.
Okay, so we put out a policy regarding personal protection. So if an arrest does occur, the officers will wear masks and gloves. In addition, they will put a mask on an arrestee. After a transport, their vehicles will also be decontaminated. And we also put in, we're also following directives regarding summonses in lieu of confinement to limit exposure to more officers and to the county jail and so on.
Now, how does that relate to violent offenders, offenders with weapons and drugs?
For violent offenders, weapons, some areas of domestic violence, most likely they would still go on a warrant. If there's an area of a minor offense that we're uncertain of, we would use the direction of the county prosecutor's office and call an on-call prosecutor to see if a summons would be warranted. But violent offenders will still go on a warrant, still go through arrest procedures, and go to the county jail.
And then finally, I just want to ask you about domestic violence procedures. It's something that I've read in the news that is spiking up all over the country. Are we having that effect here in the city of Orange Township?
Not really, no. I think our numbers, our crime overall has been down. And in addition, domestic violence, we've seen no uptick of any kind. We've had a couple instances, but nothing has in Orange that's alarming of any kind regarding our domestic violence numbers.
I'm glad to hear that, but I'm going to put up on the screen the number for the National Domestic Violence Hotline. In case there is a need, we want to give the information. And finally, tell us what we can do in the administration or what the public can do to make your job just a little bit easier and to make the communication flow a little bit better.
Just to reinforce messaging, we're doing our part or trying to get our part out to messaging, to wear masks and gloves and personal protection, to abide by the statewide directives and quarantines. To, if you must go to the store, go to the store, go back home, practice safe distancing, and any messaging that comes out of the mayor's office or any other offices is well guided. We could use it because you can't get enough out to the public. We have had strict compliance in the department, in the township. However, there are some people who have not got the message, and we make sure we get it to them as often as it takes.
There you have it from someone who is on the streets every day enforcing the law and now has to enforce executive orders and other policies in order to fight the coronavirus. You can see how difficult it is for his job because he has to also face the disease itself and those who might be carriers of it. We thank you, sir. You're a dad as well.
That's correct.
So us sending you home as a first responder, a public safety person, is pretty
You
important.
know, I have a good support system with my wife, and my children are out of school, but they're in the curriculum of you know, working online. So you know, I do my part, and the battle at home is continuing as well.
And you
So
have an 8 and a 4-year-old.
that's correct.
Bless you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks again.
Thank you, sir.
We all have to pay attention because it's not only someone else out in the field, it is our own officers, is our own protectors, our own first responders that we have to protect as well. And so we want to make sure that we do everything to give them the resources that they need so that they can enforce the law and be safe themselves and we can send them home. Part of the other issues that we've been getting calls on are landlord-tenant issues or inspection issues, people wanting to buy a home. So I did ask one of our inspectors to come in to just look at what that process looks like and to inform people on how we should be proceeding. Elroy Corbett, you've been an inspector with the city for some time, and you've run the gamut of inspections for violations all the way up to inspections for certificates of occupancy. Tell me how that process changed under coronavirus?
Coronavirus, unfortunately, has changed all of our lives, which also impacts code enforcement. And so we've changed some of the procedures and the processes that we have in place. In particular, we are still responding to complaints, landlord-tenant complaints. We're just asking those who have complaints to contact the mayor's hotline, 973-280-1621.
That number's up on the screen. If you have a complaint, if there's some issue with your dwelling place, please contact that number and our inspectors will address the issue. Now, ordinarily, you'd address it by going out and performing a physical inspection and then either writing a summons or warning. Has that process changed?
That process has indeed changed. Instead of going directly to the homes and the properties, we are forbidden at this particular time of going into the homes for our own safety and protection, not only ours, but the tenants and the occupants of those buildings. And so we're taking phone calls and we are handling most of that by phone. So if I get a complaint, I'm trying to get the phone number of the owners of those properties and I'm contacting them directly by phone and we're addressing those issues. And getting a pretty good response and the turnover hasn't been bad either.
Now, there are some instances where you indicated that you're looking at new initiatives that you may start to make things a little bit more effective. Tell me what those are.
That's correct, Mayor. One of the things that we're asking the tenants to do, if they have a complaint, to send those pictures by text messaging to us, to our phones. We're also trying to put together a drop box for those who are trying to get their properties inspected for C of H's, Certificate of Habitabilities. We're going to create a drop box that will probably be placed right there at the door at City Hall where you'll be able to pick it up and fill it out and get it back to us.
Oh, very good. And so if I have questions about inspections or I had an issue with my apartment, I should call the 973-280-1621.
That's correct, Mayor.
That number's up on the screen.
Also, Mayor, one of the things that we also emphasize and really need those who are in need of a certificate of habitability. We're still doing the process, but the process has changed, which has been impacted by this pandemic. We're asking you to call or email Linda Drummond at Linda Drummond, that's L as in Larry, D as in David, R as in Robert, U as in umbrella, M as in Mary, M as in man, O as in octopus, N as in Nancy, D as in David, at orange.nj.gov. She'll be able to send over to you an application or questionnaire that you'll be able to complete. Fill in as much pertinent information as you can, get it back to her, and we'll get you a temporary certificate that you'll be able to close with or be able to rent your apartment out.
And then what about the inspection?
I was getting to that. We will also do that inspection. After this pandemic is over and we're allowed to come back into City Hall and do our jobs ordinarily, we plan to come out within 90 days after City Hall reopens to do those inspections.
And if you notice violations, they'll have that period, that 90-day period to address the violation.
Absolutely. It's like starting from the beginning.
Very good. Anything that we can do in the public, when the administration, that can help make your job more effective, easier?
If I can get direct access or remote access from home, that would help all the inspectors out tremendously. One thing I want to emphasize also to the public while I have the camera is that, last week we were able to go into many of the stores to make sure that they were practicing social distancing. And we did find a few stores that were in violation. So even if the store manager is not telling you as a consumer to be 6 feet apart from each other, take it upon yourself to be 6 feet away from each other. It is critical that we do exactly what the government is telling us to do.
There you have it. We don't need someone to tell us. We don't need to be supervised into it. We have to take the initiatives ourselves to be safe, because the safety begins with each one of us. I've always said that together we can beat the coronavirus. And if we all do our part, wear your mask, wear your gloves. When you return home, bathe thoroughly, wash your clothes. Keep your social distance. All of these things have to be done on a regular basis by each individual. That's the only way that we can achieve safety. I do want to bump back into the police scenario to find out what's happening in terms of when people get arrested, what is the process inside the police station, and how that has changed. I've asked Lieutenant Oliveira to come on board to just mention how we're handling the operation in the police department from the end of the summonses, giving people their due process rights and so forth.
So what the agency is doing now is that when there is an arrest, they are brought to headquarters. They are transported to headquarters. Once the transport is complete, their vehicles are decontaminated. The arrestee will be provided with a mask. The officers will also wear their protective gear. They will be put into our booking room so the booking process can commence.
Well, that's what I want to talk about. If we have jail cells here in the police department.
Yes.
And if we bring a suspect in and we put them into the cell, how is that handled differently than it was prior to coronavirus?
Now we use a more precautious. Our officers will be equipped with the protective gear, and again, that protective gear will also be given to a detainee. They will be asked a medical questionnaire as far as any symptoms related to possible COVID. If some of the symptoms are alerted to the arresting officer, they will then be taken to a medical facility. Now we use East Orange General, where they will go and exam. After that, once they're released, they will be taken to the county. The county also does their own medical screening, but that's where then they will be housed into their court proceedings. If perchance, once they exit the booking area, if perchance we feel that there might be a COVID-19 individual, that cell block in that immediate area will be decontaminated as well. Any officers that might have had any direct contact with that individual will also be on a mandatory quarantine.
Oh, wow. Now, tell me about the process now if they're getting arrested. Has this stopped or has it impeded any of the prosecutions of cases that are going forward? Have you been lagging behind in paperwork and making sure that people get all the information they need from your office as a suspect?
No, we still try our best to go on as a regular day-to-day operations, even with our minimum staff, civilian staff that some do work from home, some do come on in the building with a restricted schedule. They're still making sure that these individuals have their due process. They're making sure that this paperwork is still completed, that this paperwork is still forwarded to the Essex County Prosecutor's Office for review, so they won't have any type of delays.
Excellent. Now, you're also, well, let me just cover the areas that you supervise. You have security.
Yes, our front
and that's front door security.
Yes.
So when we walk in, we can't just walk into the police department.
No, you cannot.
Now, what's the process there?
We have officers that are posted there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They will actually screen you in our immediate vestibule area that's actually partitioned by glass barrier. They will ask you pertinent questions as if you're going to the courts, if you need to see a detective. Everything is screened at the door, and the officers take necessary precautions. Is it something that can be handled there or can be handled over the phone?
Right. Speaking of the courts, you also handle the court squad.
Yes, I do.
And that part is shut down because the courts are closed.
Yes.
Okay. And then what other areas do you cover?
I also cover our prisoner management, which is something we already went over, and cover our auto squad. So right now we are still releasing cars to the public Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. They are met at our front vestibule with our security. They will give whatever information they need to. And
I'm sorry, these are cars that are towed by the police department.
yes, yes.
And they come to the police department.
Yes.
For the release.
To be able to pick up their vehicle.
Okay, and they release them here at the police department?
Yes, we do. We still release them here at the police department.
Okay, and is there any concern at that point when you do the release?
No, because we have minimum contact. Documents are given through the glass partition, and vice versa with the documents and the credentials that the individual needs to give to the police department.
Very good. Now, you have also been enforcing some of the governor's executive orders and our implementation of those orders. How is that going?
That's going excellent. Our patrol division, amongst other divisions in the police department, are out here making sure that non-essential businesses remain closed. They're out here making sure that...
Have you had to issue any summonses in that regard?
Yes, we had one so far that it was a non-essential business that was open, and the owner of the location was given a summons with a future court date.
And I've been getting a number of calls, and we've addressed a number with the law department regarding price gouging. Has that come up on the radar at all?
Yes, we've had recent price gouging going on some of the essential businesses, and our patrol officers are doing everything they can to make sure that they are warning the store owners of price gouging and that they will be dealt with accordingly.
What is it that the public or the administration can do to make your job more effective?
Thus far, the administration has been excellent in giving us those resources, the materials, and the equipment that we need to face this pandemic of coronavirus. What I would want to tell the public is follow orders set by the City of Orange Township Mayor Dwayne Warren. Follow executive orders given by the government. Stay home, stay healthy, stay safe. It is important not only for our first responders, but also for the public.
And you're part of the COVID-19 task force.
Yes. I receive data if there's any violations, summonses, or arrests related to COVID-19 enforcement. They are given to me. I keep a tally of it. That information is reported to the Essex County Prosecutor's Office, who in turn reports that information to our Attorney General.
Wow. There you have it. There's one of our first responders doing a great job on the scene. You're a first responder, you're a mom.
Yes.
Your kids are in college or almost in college?
One's in college, she's 22, and the other one's a senior in high school, she's 17.
Wow, so they're studying at home, both
They're
of them.
studying at home.
We want to send home our first responders in a safe fashion. I live with a first responder, so this is particularly sensitive to me because she works very hard in areas that are dangerous, and we too have 2 college students. But we try to make sure that my wife is safe, that all first responders are safe. Thank you for what you do on the front lines for us. There you've got it, the coronavirus update. It's a message of stay home, stay safe, wash your hands, wear your mask, wear your gloves. When you come home, bathe thoroughly, wash your clothes. These are all common sense measures, but they go a tremendous amount of mileage in terms of making sure that we combat this coronavirus. In the City of Orange Township, we're going to continue to do that. I want to re-announce that we have 227 cases of coronavirus, positive test cases in the City of Orange Township, that we have 5 deaths. All of those deaths range in age from the mid-60s to the mid-80s. Most of them have had prior medical conditions, but they did succumb to the coronavirus. And we had 15 cases where people have recovered from the virus. There is hope, but that also is a message that we have to continue to be safe at home. I do want to announce that I believe April 11th is Love Your Pets Day. Please look out for an announcement. We're going to ask you to send your pictures in. We're going to do a picture collage on this station, just to have something to celebrate, to give us some relief from all of the bad news. Sibling Day is also coming up. Stay tuned for an announcement about that. The mayor and my wife, we put together an essay, short story, video, and drawing contest for kids to win cash prizes. You can win from up to $75 down to, I believe, $10 or $20. We're working hard to make sure that we keep our families engaged and that our community is staying safe. If you need to contact us for food, 973-280-1621, you see that number on the screen. As always, my number is 862-373-0025. It is on the screen, but in case you walked away and you're not looking at the screen, I'm going to say it louder. 862-373-0025. That is for me, Mayor Dwayne Warren. I could be reached anytime. Use my number. If there's something to report, from needing food up to conditions that you're living in, if you need information about the COVID-19 virus, you'll see up on our screen the various testing centers. You'll see on our screen the places that have the tent emergency rooms for non-COVID-19 issues. All that information is there. You can go to the website as well. You can also always go to the state website, and you can go to the website for the Centers for Disease Control as well. But remember, we're going to play the one video again on how you can make yourself a mask in about 45 seconds. The U.S. Surgeon General has gone on and showed how you can take a common T-shirt, make sure it's clean, fold it, 2 rubber bands, put it around, and you have a mask. It's critically important that we do that. I'm still working with 3 other mayors in urban Essex County about other policies that we can implement that'll make sure that we're continuing to stay safe, and we'll report back on those issues as well. Please, if you have any questions, give me a call, 862-373-0025. Stay safe, follow all the protocols against the coronavirus, and remember, together, we can beat the coronavirus. Thank you.
Here's how you can make your own face covering in a few easy steps with items you can find around the house, like an old scarf, a bandana or a hand towel, or you can make a face covering out of an old t-shirt. Fold it to the middle from the bottom, fold it to the middle from the top, fold it again to the middle from the bottom, and again from the top, and then 2 rubber bands, one on one side and one on the other side. Then you fold either side to the middle, and you have yourself cloth face covering. It's that easy.